The protesters are complaining about the poor living conditions of Indigenous Canadians. They say little has been.
Who wants to play Pandas and Pipelines?
Yay!
He's greeting two pandas from China. It sounds stupid, but it's true.
And environmental protections in order to turn Canada into an extraction state and give corporations unchecked power to destroy the communities and environment for profit.
And with that, we're back again. Welcome back to the show. Hi there, I'm Darren Howard.
I'm Robert Nisbet.
And I'm Monica Salmark.
We're so happy to have you along here today because we are talking about a revolution in consciousness. Yes, indeed, taking Stephen Harper outside in an intellectual manner, putting him in philosophical stocks and bonds, and spanking him the way that a cane spanker can spank.
Oh, he seriously needs a good paddling.
3 p.m. at Spike Rapids.
Oh my goodness! It is so real here. We are taking him on, and we've got Rick Mercer.
Well, that was an excellent instant macaroni-style dinner, hon. Delish.
Glad you liked it. How about you, kids?
We have it every other night.
Looking for a board game that will distract your kids from how bad things are?
Turn those frowns upside down. Who wants to play Pandas and Pipelines?
Yay!
Pandas and Pipelines. It's the new game that brings your family together while the economy and the environment fall apart.
I rolled a 6, I landed on a pipeline, I get a panda.
You always get the panda. I landed in jail. Can I roll to get out?
No, not for mandatory 3 turns. Come on, 7. I got a panda.
That'll be $10 million.
Oh, I'll have to close a daycare.
Wait, I'm confused. We don't keep the pandas?
No. Cuddly panda.
It says I won't be eligible for old age security.
You won't. But look, a panda. Love this game.
It's fun that you don't have a job, Dad.
Who wants margarine sandwiches?
Yay! Pandas and Pipelines. It's confusing as hell. But look, a panda from Harper Brothers. It's distractulous.
It's distractulous. I can't believe he actually did that. That was so awesome because that's exactly the way it worked.
Yay, a panda.
Oh, look, we're selling our oil to China.
A panda?
But there's a panda.
Wait, we're closing a women's shelter, but?
A panda.
Yes, indeed. Well, we get our fuzzy black and whites on right now. We're going to run a couple stories and talk about Stephen Harper, exactly the way that he's running this country into the ground, and the fact that you indeed must hold him accountable. Why? Well, it's talking about democracy.
Is that part of democracy?
Holding politicians accountable, is that part of a democracy?
It's supposed to be, but I don't believe we live in a democracy.
Ah, so let's discuss it. But first of all, let's run a clip.
Okay.
What do you got?
Well, we got the Walkers that came from James Bay through the winter to meet with Mr. Harper. And, of course, he had to go take part in a useless photo op.
Okay, so let's talk about some guys walking a long ways. You're listening to Radio Free Canada. Thanks for tuning in. Hang on.
1,600 kilometers in 2 months' time, in 0 below temperatures, the young Nishkyuu Walkers of Cree Northern Quebec have finally made it here, Parliament Hill. They're in front of Ottawa to show Stephen Harper that they're upset with his politics and what he's been doing to their land. So you would think Stephen Harper would be here. No, he's not. He is in Toronto right now. He's in Toronto. He's greeting two pandas from China. It sounds stupid, but it's true. Basically, today everyone is here to prove a point to Stephen Harper, but he is in Toronto greeting panda bears. What do you feel about that?
Total disrespect. I think he's making a bad influence on everyone.
I feel bad for pandas because they're with that mean man.
The guy with the bad haircut, you mean?
Yeah.
His favorite movie? Do you know what it is? Kung Fu Panda. Where are you guys from?
OSSTF, Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation.
Okay, so what your stance here is for?
Just to support the Cree youth that came on the walk.
Okay, but as we all know, the media doesn't really care about that. Okay, but we're trying to get media coverage, so we can't like talk about native issues right now. With media, we need to get like something cute and like, you know, so if we could talk about pandas, then we'll probably get this to like air somewhere.
Wow.
Wow. I mean, and it's true. These guys walked
1,600 kilometers through the icy winter weather.
Okay.
And who does that?
You know, to make a point, I mean, I wouldn't walk that far. Okay, it kind of shows you strength and commitment.
Well, don't you know the press is under strict orders not to show any positive stories about Aboriginal issues?
Right. Aboriginal issues, treaty negotiations are not to be covered in a positive light. We've got that memo from the Black Press Group.
Oh, my.
Okay, that's for real.
Serious?
Yeah, the Black Press Group released a memo. It was covered in the Capital News by one of their reporters who said that until we stop getting these memos, we can't really be journalists.
Oh, look, a panda.
Wait, yeah, that's right. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry.
Delicious.
I always like the case of racism, too, you know, with the panda pictures. I mean, come on, be a panda. He's black. He's white. He's from Asia. I mean, how do you discriminate against him, right?
Well, that's very unified.
I'm sure Harperites would figure out a way to discriminate against a panda. But at any rate, so we are covering the story, yes. And
well, the media is not covering the story. All they cared about was the photo op at the Toronto airport where Harper went down to meet the pandas that we have on loan from China.
For 10 years.
For 10 years. Of
must
course,
be good for the pandas.
You know, it must be good for the pandas to stay in a zoo.
In a prison for pandas.
Yes. Well, you know, it all goes in with that mandatory minimum sentencing.
Well, and it's probably good for our China, Canadian relations.
Yes.
Yes, we will bow down to China.
We'll take care of their two pandas.
Okay, let's run this clip. Hang on.
With drum playing, singing, and dancing, Aboriginals in Montreal gather for a traditional sunrise ceremony while also sending a message.
We're trying to find a way to stop the government from doing what they're doing before they destroy all our land and all our water.
This ceremony was about the beginning of spring, but is also here to tell those in Canada that Idle No More is here to stay.
Organizers say in 3 months, the Idle No More, a grassroots movement for First Nation rights and environment, has succeeded in raising global consciousness about inequality in Canada, and they are asking everyone to stand for their cause. Unhappy about the way the government treats Aboriginals, they've held protests and openly involved the community in rituals of the First Nation.
Because they were banned from the 1920s up until the 1950s. They were banned. The communities received letters banning them from dancing, from doing ceremonies, from doing potlatches all across Canada. And now with the movement coming up and protesting all the treatment of First Nation and their rights, they're also saying, look, you tried to ban us from singing and dancing, and we're singing and dancing in your malls now.
The group says the agenda for Canada's government is to weaken collective rights and environmental protections in order to turn Canada into an extraction state and give corporations unchecked power to destroy the communities and environment for profit.
Harper is passing many bills from under everyone's noses without anyone knowing, without any discussion, without any consultation.
Organizers of the movement are promising more major protests are coming and their voice will be heard. Ashante Hathaway, Press TV, Montreal.
So, did you know that natives weren't allowed to do their traditional dances and stuff? It's against the law.
Now I'm not surprised of what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah,
and that's crazy. And I hope I get to see them dancing in the mall. I will dance with them.
The fact that they're doing it now, it's against the law for them to carry on their traditions.
I know, they did that.
And, Harper starts up this religious freedoms office.
Yes, but only if you're a religion that we like.
Monotheist.
Yeah.
Muslim, Jewish, Catholic, Christian. If you're a monotheist, they'll protect your religion. If not, Tibet proved that. Because as soon as they opened the office, the Tibetan representative said, well, you're going to protect religion in Tibet?
How's that going to work out? And who is going to enforce these rules anyway?
Yeah. Oh, we'll send somebody to inspect. But right now, what's very interesting, something shiny, Harper is preventing inspectors from coming to Canada.
That's what I was just going to mention. Yeah, the special rapporteur from the UN, because he wants to check out human rights of Aboriginals, and of course they're blocking that movement.
Okay, so talking about it, before 1 in 5 children going hungry, they rejected that report, the conservatives, saying don't look at that. They didn't say it didn't happen. They said just don't look at it. And now they're preventing human rights investigators from coming from the UN. I mean, what do you do with that?
Oh, look, a panda.
Oh, wait a second.
Yeah. Well, that's extraction state.
Extraction state.
That's not democracy.
No.
Welcome to what our new reality is, Canadians.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in Canada, there's a panda.
Yeah.
Yes.
Joshua Blakeney, one of our favorite people on there, has been covering it because mainstream news has pandas. So let's run this.
7 young Native Canadians finished a 1,600-kilometer trek to the capital in protest against living conditions on reserves. Back in January, they set out on a journey from a town in Quebec that included travel by snowshoes and sleds. After arriving in Ottawa on Monday, the protesting natives were joined by hundreds of demonstrators outside the Canadian Parliament. The protesters are complaining about the poor living conditions of Indigenous Canadians. They say little has been done to address a severe shortage of housing and schools on the reserves. They also say that Prime Minister Stephen Harper's policies have resulted in acute poverty for Native communities. Joshua Blakeney is a correspondent who joins us from Calgary.
Stephen Harper went to Toronto to welcome 2 pandas that are coming because obviously China is investing heavily in Canada's oil deposits in the Alberta tar sands around here where I live. And so Stephen Harper was more interested in currying favor with perhaps with China, who's investing here, than with welcoming these Aboriginal youth. An opposition member of Parliament did raise an interesting point that imagine if these youth had been white and had decided to march, 1,600 kilometers for something that was not related to Aboriginal affairs and Aboriginal politics. I think we can be sure that members of the Conservative government would have been there welcoming them. And so there has been the fact that these Aboriginal youth have received the cold shoulder from members of the Harper government. That this is another sign that the Harper government is not really interested in perpetuating Canada's comparatively good Crown Aboriginal relations, but rather wants to amend all the laws that protect and uphold Aboriginal rights in order to pave the way for the plundering of Canada's resources.
Well, thank you for putting that into context, especially regarding Stephen Harper's welcoming of the pandas. We appreciate that. Joshua Blakeney.
So, yeah, shedding some light here, and then you're mentioning off thing.
The CBC
the
report
CBC.
I heard this morning talking about innovations of teams, and the only way to really get ahead is open-mindedness.
Okay. So, but that's the direct opposite of the conservative mentality where you have a closed mind on purpose.
Well, the conservative mentality is your head firmly placed up your rectum.
Yes. Okay. And, the ancient statement, what you were saying before, it is impossible to fill a cup with wisdom that's already full.
Yeah.
And you ask these right-wingers, do you got a good take on things? They got a good take on things.
Yes, it's all about the economy, but not the ecology, not the extractive technologies that are going on.
Or the future generations. They broke the first rule of conservatism, which is taking care of the next generation.
Sounds like the zombie eclipse is en route.
Yes.
Yes, the zombie apocalypse is coming.
Save us. Remember, your zombie apocalypse plan might fail. We are here. It's Radio Free Canada, and we've got another segment where we're going to be mocking Harper. Why? Because they just keep putting their foot in it.
And they are mock-worthy.
It is mock-worthy radio right here, Radio Free Canada. I'm Darren Howard.
I'm Robert Nisbet.
And I'm Monica Salmark.
Hang on. We're going to be right back again, and we're also going to be talking about prohealthnow.ca. That's coming up. Radio Free Canada. Thanks for joining us. Remember, the revolution is you. The Conservative government stopped debate on Bill C-474 without hearing the whole story. The GMOs are bad for you. Genetically modified organics are threatening the food system in Canada, and Bill C-474 could protect you. In December of 2010, our government is voting on Bill C-474. It's a real chance for our future. Please read about it, then join us.